To save clients from churning. Now, this is super important because think about it like this. In your business right now, in your agency, imagine a world where you never lost a clients. And yes, of course, we've all lost clients, especially in the beginning when we had no idea what we were doing. But imagine a world where every single time you signed the clients, they never left. How much more money would that have made you? What kind of lifestyle would that have given you quicker? How much money would you have put into paid ads quicker? How much money would you have put into your lifestyle quicker or your brands quicker, right? Creating that flywheel. So imagine that. Imagine that alternative universe in which you could be living. And here's the best part, that's totally possible from this day moving forward. But it all comes down to your product or service. If your product or service is absolutely shit, if the client isn't getting a crystal clear ROI and saying to themselves, wow, this Marco guy, wow, this Jack guy, he's absolutely crushing it and we're making tons of money from him. If all else fails, and they're like, yo, we're done with you and your gimmicks and your scams, this is what we have on the back end to save potential clients from churning. And so there are a few things that we have to be doing here. And the first is mandatory exit call for clients that want to leave. And this is written crystal clear in the contract. If you want to churn, if you want to leave before the 90-day program, the 1 month program is up, okay, completely fine. We just have to have a mandatory exit call to kind of make sure that you have a crystal clear ROI or a crystal clear understanding of what you're going to experience and what's going to happen, given that we're not partners anymore. And so this is essentially just selling. This is essentially, if you're doing this or if you have a CSM doing this, it really comes down to how good you are at selling and making the gap between where they're at and where they want to go huge on this call. And if you're not in the picture, then nearly impossible for them to actually happen. And so on this mandatory call, we want to cover a few things. And the first is, what happens when we depart? Now, if you guys have gotten them lead flow and they just want to churn for whatever reason, whether it's too much, then this is really important. You have to hone in on this. And that's so what happens then if 2, 3, 4, 5 months down the line we depart and you go back to where you once were before we even met and before we even started the program together? Is what happens then? What's the plan? What are you going to do? And similar on sales calls, with some of these prospects not really having a crystal clear marketing plan for getting the work they want, same exact thing is going to happen here. They're just going to kind of revert back to their old identity, to their old habits, to their old way of doing things, because push came to shove and maybe they started losing a little bit of money on the ad spend, or you didn't set crystal clear expectations, which is your fault. And so it really depends on like whether or not this person is highly aware of their situation moving forward, in that they are going to be left off worse without you. And is that what they want? Is that what you want? Is it an ethical obligation for you to prevent because you believe in your service, you believe in your product, and you believe in actually helping people? And that's one of the frame of minds we have to come with, is actually understanding that, okay, we're here to help, we're meant to serve. It would be unethical for me to let this person get off the call or leave the program on a whim, knowing that they have a lesser likelihood of success without us, right? So that's one of the things we want to do here. Make the gap huge. Yeah, the second is, we have also saving or techniques that will allow them, if it's a cost-based thing, which we have to figure out. But so this is really important. And that's, we have to kind of understand why they're churning, understands why they're churning. And guys, this is a massive golden nugget and something I've experienced in my agency. And when I've had clients leave from our initial point of contact on the first setting or sales call, I said to myself internally, okay, there's a really big limiting belief here around investments or around the money aspect or around giving it time, giving the algorithm time to actually work with us. And this could potentially pop up somewhere in the relationship. And so that's why you have to pre-cancel, reset their beliefs, reset their expectations on the relationship moving forward, so that these beliefs do not come up later down the line. And I've had times where just like I said, it was a money thing, and the client ended up churning because it was too expensive, or whatever that limiting belief is, right, in their minds. And again, this comes from you setting the expectation, from you setting the expectation on the initial call you have with them, and that is pre-handling objections in the discovery process so that they don't pop up not just at the end of the sales call, but in the entire relationship. And that's huge. So understand why they're churning. If it's a money thing, understand the ROI, but also we could also add an additional month. Add an additional month. This is huge. The last thing we want to do is take money away from us, and because that's then going to cut into our profits, our margins. And at the end of the day, if you have a full team, you're barely going to be making anything, right? So we could add an additional month. Well, first off, what happens when we depart? Second, add an additional month. Third, say, actually, I was going to talk about the referral thing, but I don't know if this is a good time to mention. Hey, if you refer someone, we'll give you an additional 2 months. It's like, why would I refer someone to your business when I'm leaving you? Okay, so I would say then this is where we can take off money. If this works, first you save them. You don't add an additional month. You don't add anything. This is after you understand the root objection, you understand why they're departing. They're highly aware of their situation. Maybe it's a money thing, maybe it's a logistical thing, and so you add an additional month. The third thing is, I would say, start to take money away, but only once, and that's it. And now, if there's still limiting beliefs, I would say, let's say your program is 5K for 90 days. I would still add an additional month with 500 off. And this is like bottom red line, hard red line. Do not go past this. And you need to stick to your gun, but you also need to understand like LTV, lifetime value of the actual prospects, and whether or not it's worth keeping them around. And as you kind of build and start to scale, you're going to kind of start to make a lot more tougher decisions on whether or not you want to keep people for the same price that you once charged, or is it worth even keeping some of these clients if they're a pain in the butt. And so in the beginning, you have to work with everyone. You have to understand the different type of archetypes that you're working with, different types of personalities, understand the different types of people, why they're that way, how you can manage the relationship, what type of support do they need, whether it's more emotional, whether it's more data driven. Understand these archetypes and their specifics so that when time comes on these exit calls, you understand who they are as a person and what type of solutions you can give them so that they don't leave. But I hope this video helps you guys. And these are just 3 things that you can do on the exit call. Again, make it crystal clear in the contracts and then have these as your backups. But first, shoot for them sticking around without changing anything, define the cost of an action, and go from there. Alrighty, hope this is of value. Peace.